snake rose up and opened his mouth to strike her flesh. "Felix, help!" she screamed at the top of her lungs. Felix turned around to face an Ahoy snake and yanked out his sword. He raised his sword to the air and it came down, piercing the viper's tail. The fierce snake, turned around and surrounded Felix. Felix once again raised his sword and sliced the viper's head in two. Sarah let out a sigh of relief. "Let's get out of here," she said to him. "It's a good thing that snake didn't bite you. You know, he could have killed you instantly. You just better be careful," he told her. Sarah pointed her finger. "Hey, look, we're almost to the sea." Sarah and Felix rushed ahead, and within a couple of hours they had made it to the sea. Sarah was so thankful to be past the dark forest. Now, with any luck, they would sail to Israel. She felt like they were finally on their way now. Felix and Sarah ran into the ocean. Felix washed his sword while Sarah enjoyed the feeling of the waves lapping at her feet and the cool wind blowing against her face. She watched the golden sun reflecting off the ocean. It was such a wonderful moment. "I'm done," Felix called. "We can catch fish now." "Are you sure you washed it enough?" she asked. "You know, you strike me as a person who worries all the time. Instead of worrying, you should be more like me. I don't have any worries." Sarah gagged to show her disgust for his arrogant comment. He sure had a lot of pride. "Let's go catch fish now. I'll show you how to do it." A fish swam by. Felix stabbed it with his sword and dragged it out of the water. "See? That's how you catch fish with this sword. Now try it," he said as he handed her the sword. Sarah tried to find a fish to poke, but every time she thought she had one, fish would swim away, and it really frustrated her. Finally, she managed to pull one out of the water. "Do we only need 2 for tonight?" she asked him. "It's kind of difficult to catch fish with a knife." "It's not difficult. You've been doing it for a long time. I've been doing it for years and I've never missed one," he told her. Sarah didn't believe a word of what he was saying. "Yeah, I guess 2 will be enough for tonight." Sarah smiled and then ran further into the ocean. Right now she felt like she could fly. She wanted to soar with the birds. Her mind was at peace and her joy could not be contained inside. She floated around in the ocean while Felix got the fire started and set the fish to roast over it. "Hey, Felix!" she called as he came close enough to the shore for him to hear. "I changed my mind. I want to try your method of fishing again." Felix came knee-deep into the ocean and handed her the sword, but she did not take it. Instead, she splashed his face with water. "Oh, I get it. You want to play that game, do you?" he said as he cupped his hand with water to pour at her. Felix and Sarah had a great time as they played in the ocean and splashed each other with water. They both laughed their heads off. Sarah tried to run away from him, but Felix caught up with him and dunked her underwater. "That's what you get for luring me into the ocean again." When Sarah came out of the water, she wrinkled her nose. "Hey, I smell something burning," she said as the steam from the fish traveled to her nose. "Oh no, I forgot about the fish," he yelled. Sarah and Felix both ran to the shore as they pushed each other out of the way to see who would get to the fish first. Sarah grabbed one of the fish, but in her hunger she forgot that it was over the fire. "Ah!" she screamed as she dropped the fish and ran into the ocean to cool her hand down. When Sarah came back, Felix was already chomping on his fish. Sarah grabbed her fish from the ground and dusted it off. She started chewing. Her hands were freezing to ice from being in the ocean so long, and her teeth were chattering, but the fire warmed her up. "So I've wondered, what exactly do people of your faith believe about God?" Felix asked. "People of my faith? You mean Jews? I'm half Greek, you know." "But you share the Jewish faith, don't you?" "Point taken." "Well, we believe that God created the world and that he intervenes in our lives. We also believe that at some point he's going to send a Redeemer to save us all." "Save you from what?" "I don't know, honestly." "What do you believe in?" she asked. "I don't believe in the gods of stone like my people, that's for sure. I actually believe in your God. My whole family worships him, but in secret. I guess there's no reason to keep it a secret anymore, since I'm no longer a part of the Roman army." He stuffed another piece of fish into his mouth and started to say something, but Sarah cut him off. "Can you please not talk with your mouth full?" she said. "I can't understand what you're saying." He swallowed his bite and then continued. "What I said was, I used to be ashamed of who I was, but after I stood up to Quintus, I've become a different person. I'm proud of the person I've become after I stopped compromising my morals." "Hot-headed and arrogant?" Sarah said sarcastically. Yeah, whatever, he said. You know, Sarah said thoughtfully, I've also been ashamed of who I am. Felix looked at her questioningly. My father, he left us a year ago, and so my mother and I looked down upon because of what he did. No one wants to socialize with us. All of my friends deserted me when it happened. So I'm not too proud of my family name or our reputation. Well, my father's Greek and my mother's Jewish, so they didn't seem like they were the most compatible. Actually, I'm on my way to see Jesus because of my father. I want him to bring my father back to us. I believe he can change the past. When my father divorced my mother, he also took the family fortune. So my mother's forcing me to marry a rich man. It's part of the reason I ran away. I feel pretty guilty about that. She's probably worried sick. The other reason I ran away is because my mother, she wouldn't let me go on this journey. Well, that's understandable why your mother wouldn't let you go. What's that supposed to mean? She said, irritated by his response. What I mean is, there are way too many dangers for a small girl like you to be facing alone. Yeah, I guess that's true. But what really frustrates me is that she's pressuring me to get married. I mean, I don't want to get married. I'm only 14 years old. Well, most girls do get married around your age. Yeah, but that's not what I want for my life. I never did like the prospect of marriage, but I knew it wasn't right to say so. It's not proper. I know it sounds silly to say, but the only thing I ever wanted was a sibling. She said, catching his eye. She thought she saw a spark in his brown eyes. He smiled at her, but said nothing. Well, I'm pretty tired, she said. Sarah laid down by the fire and rolled over so the tears could flow privately. Felix sat up for a long while, lost in his thoughts. Their journey had only begun, and the two of them had conflict between them that they would have to overcome. They were both self-centered and wanted control. In spite of the fact that they didn't always get along very well, they were destined to have an unshakable bond. They were both hurting and needed someone to listen to them. Pain brought the broken-hearted together for the purpose of binding up each other's deep wounds. The journey would teach them to give of themselves. When Felix woke up the next morning, he saw Sarah sitting by the ocean, throwing pebbles and crying. Hey, are you all right? He asked as he approached her. You wouldn't understand. Just leave me alone. She snapped. Felix perked up. In the distance, he spotted a ship. He waved his sword so they would see the light from his sword reflecting off the sun. The ship came towards them. Felix was bored out of his mind, so he paced back and forth, waiting for the ship to arrive. When the ship docked, the Romans on board recognized Felix. Welcome, Centurion, they said kindly to him as they helped him sail into his ship. I'm sorry to hear, but what happened to Quintus Perseus? One of them told him. Felix looked confused. Why? What happened to him? He asked. The Romans looked equally perplexed. We thought you were with him when it happened. Felix immediately told the first lie he could think of. My sister Warren and I were stranded. We were traveling to Israel, but we don't have any money because thieves stole all our silver coins. The more Felix lied, the more his stomach turned in knots. So what happened to my beloved general? Felix asked, hoping they wouldn't catch his sarcasm.